one of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
You're in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Liv. It's
very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when this wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I relished it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
Let's roll. The Friday Night Freak Show has begun. This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. The Olympic ceremonies have begun. The games are set to begin. Let's roll. We got a 120-minute full-court press tonight. We're on for 2 hours instead of 3 this evening, but we're jam-packed with quality content. Steve Merrill steps up and joins us. Lou Gamblu.com in the house. Rob Vino throws it down this evening. Tony Finn, straight from the strip in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Rage Redhead, Cam Stewart, kicks it with us as well. So the Olympics take center stage, but the National Football League preseason is now less than a week away, and quarterbacks are getting paid big time. Tua gets a 4-year, $200 million deal, and then hours later, Jordan Love. And in fact, Jordan Love basically just, this is sort of like breaking news in the last hour, give or take or so, but Jordan Love becomes the highest paid player in the National Football League. He gets $220 million, $55 million a year. As the National Football League quarterback contracts are now rivaling NBA deals, but it's also taking up a majority of team salary caps as well. It's actually becoming a problem. Quarterbacks are making too much money, and they need to make the cap bigger. You know, I've said this a million times over the years that salary caps are communist. They're just point blank, they are. They go against everything that the free market stands for. Like, if a company is making billions of dollars, it's kind of ridiculous if somebody's going to tell them you're only allowed to spend so much. Why do you think the owners like this? So clearly, you know, the cap should be going up, but if it goes up, then the quarterbacks are just going to want more money. Sort of like, you know, like the running backs weren't getting paid, right? Somebody's going to get paid, but that's going to leave others out. But Jordan Love, highest paid player in NFL history. Tua's been paid. Dak Prescott's waiting to get paid. CeeDee Lamb's waiting to get paid. And we're hoping to get paid with this football game. It's 33-6 right now. Incredibly painful game, okay, in the CFL tonight. It would be worse if I was on the Calgary Stampeders, I'll tell you that. So we're on the Ottawa Red Blacks, and how about that Red Black total that we gave you before the season started at over 6.5? They're going to be 5-2 after tonight. So it's 33-6, but we hammered the teaser. And we're short. We need 41 points for the teaser. We're at 39 right now, and Calgary has given us less than 0 tonight. They've scored 2 field goals. They got stopped on the goal line. It's just been an absolute train wreck for the Calgary Stampeders this evening, and I see they put their backup quarterback in right now. There's 3 minutes left in this game. I basically need a safety or a field goal for the teaser. And I would say, well, maybe Ottawa can get a pick 6 here. That'd be nice. I was hoping that Calgary would try to move the ball down the field, but they just put their backup quarterback in. It's going to take some sort of CFL weird thing to happen here for us to get. Normally, there's a bunch of points late in these CFL games, but it's a rout. So they're just trying to run the clock out, basically, and Calgary is tapped out. But there's 2:57 left. They just went to the 3-minute warning. They did a play, and it's 2:57 left. Maybe we can get something here somehow. Somebody pops one, something happens. We've seen crazier things, but it is what it is. Major League Baseball, some important and interesting series is taking place this weekend on the diamond, including the New York Yankees, the struggling New York Yankees, going into Fenway in a baseball game that's been going back and forth all night. It's currently 9-7 right now for the Red Sox. Red Sox are 22-1 on the money line right now. Big payday if you want to jump in on the Bronx Bombers. Another wild baseball game. The Rangers and the Blue Jays, they've been going back and forth. They're tied at 5 right now. As far as late night action is concerned on the diamond, there's really not much. We've got the San Francisco Giants and the Colorado Rockies, if you're interested in it. I'm not, considering all the Olympic action that I'm rocking. The Pittsburgh Pirates are up on the D-backs right now, 2-0 in the top of the second inning. Pirates are minus 190. D-backs are plus 155. Total is 9.5. I would say, listen, the Pirates have a runner on first and there's one out, but getting plus 160 right now with the D-backs isn't a terrible bet, only being down 2 runs this early in a baseball game. For the record, the Giants are minus 185 favorites over the visiting Colorado Rockies. The Giants probably should win this game. Colorado blow. And San Francisco coming off a series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's a big step down in class right now for San Francisco, but I'm really not interested in that baseball game. So I am interested in the Olympic basketball, and we're getting ready to tip off. We'll get you caught up to date with all the point spreads and line moves. And we got player props. And I've got a bunch of player props for you a little bit later on in the show with our best bets for tomorrow's action. And we got a hell of a lot of stuff going on tomorrow in the Olympics. Normally, like, it sort of eases in. They've decided, you know what? It's the weekend. It's a Saturday. We're starting off with a bang. And one of the most anticipated events in the Olympics is actually the women's 400-meter freestyle swimming. And you've got Ariane Titmus from Australia, who's the world record holder. You've got Summer McIntosh, who's a 17-year-old phenom from Canada, who broke the world record, and then Titmus just broke her world record. And you've got, another swimmer that's pretty good in Katie Ledecky. And they're all in this race. And it's actually, it starts at like 5 in the morning, East Coast time, 5:12 a.m. to be exact. That's when that meet starts. So, it's big time stuff. The 4-woman 100, the relay race, right? The individual relay race is tomorrow as well with the woman. There's some big time teams. Like, some people think the Australian team is like the best team ever. They're big time favorites. We got some picks for that for you. We've got Olympic soccer going on, volleyball. It all basically starts tomorrow. Judo as well. We've got a judo pick for you a little bit later on in the program this evening. They're awarding judo medals tomorrow, but the basketball starts tomorrow. We gave you the parlay last night, but if you weren't with us, we took a parlay with top point score from each team, and we took Rui Hachimura. For the record, Rui Hachimura's prop tomorrow is 19.5 points. All right, Japan are playing Germany in basketball, and Rui Hachimura was going off in the showcase, in the exhibition games. He's basically their only scorer. I like Rui to go over the number, and we've got a bunch of player props for you. So we're dying a slow death in this game. Very painful. And this is exactly like what we didn't need to happen, that Ottawa gets a first down. They didn't really need the first down. Calgary ready to tap out. Like somehow, just if you field goal, it would really, really help us out here. It's a big difference with our units. Big difference between 2-1 and 1-2. And we're staring at a 1-2, which is pretty frustrating because I called this game pretty well. I thought Ottawa would show up. I thought Ottawa would win this football game. But I didn't think that Calgary would get stuck at 6 points. Like, if they just could have given us anything, man, like this, the teaser would have gotten here and the total would have gotten here. I got to tell you what, too. Dave Dickinson's a great coach, and he's a Hall of Famer. He's a college football Hall of Famer. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. He's a CFL. He's going to be in the CFL Hall of Fame. The guy is definitely a legend, but his play calling blows. Let's just call it out for what it is. I've never seen a team with his, just confusing, weird, bad play calling. It's, predictable what they do. It's almost like, yeah, this is what they're going to do, and it's not going to work. Like, they were on the goal line, and they needed a touchdown, and, they can't score. They got 3 points on the night earlier, and instead of just, handing it off or doing a little dump off, they run this complicated, fake handoff, reverse sort of slant in traffic. Did it work? Of course not. Let's roll.
I would imagine if you think the salaries are big now, what kind of salaries are we looking at on an 11-year, $76 billion media rights deal?
This deal puts so much more money in the owners and the players' hands. Folks, this is about national media rights. So you're going to have more national appearances than ever.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Are there any grave issues that would keep Team USA from winning a gold medal?
Should they be minus 430 against the field or whatever the price is right now? Maybe. But am I looking at, hey, Europe as a continent to win the Olympics at plus 500 as an interesting bet? Yeah, because one, they have 5 teams in the Olympics out of the 12.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
The Pirates also are another team, Matt, that they're not going to sit back at the deadline. But there's only 3 spots for those 6 teams, and we didn't even do the Cubs or the Reds. And I think those teams right now kind of feel like they're hanging around too.
I think you mentioned the Padres. They're a team that I would think can get it together and do enough to get in. But, I mean, yeah, there's no way of knowing those final 2 spots. It's going to just be kind of a mad rush down the stretch.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
They scored well. They defended like crap. Last game, they struggled to score. They defended great. We still have not seen the best out of USA basketball. So they showed they've won different ways. They still should win absolutely the gold medal. But they're playing with fire a little bit with their play, especially when you get to the medal round and it only takes is 1 game to lose.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The Friday Night Freak Show continues. 120-minute full-court press. And this is like watching the final minutes of a Utah Jazz Cleveland Cavalier blowout in the NBA, and you have money on the over, and it's just like Brick City, one after another, late in the game, and it's almost like painful and hard to watch. And of course, they do just enough to make you hang in here. There's 35 seconds left. Calgary had the ball. They have their backup quarterback in. They just dumped it off. I'm hoping for like a pick 6 or something weird happening, but they're about to tap out. I don't know why they're just not throwing bombs on every play, and you just hope for a pass interference call or something like that. But it is 33-6. Incredibly frustrating. We're on Ottawa. Listen, we give you 3 picks for every one of these CFL games. The total, the side, and a teaser. And I liked Ottawa. I liked them all tonight, to be honest. I liked the over the game. I liked Ottawa to win the game. And I really liked when I put the teaser and I looked at it, I'm like, damn, how does this lose? I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Ottawa +8 over 41. This is amazing. And, of course, I had to go a little bigger on it. And here we are right now, stuck at 39 when I need over 41. 20 seconds left. Cam Stewart steps up and in. And it's torture, Cam, because I'd rather just stop watching this, but they keep completing passes where it's like, I don't know, maybe. I don't even know if this guy can throw the ball 50 yards in the air. Like, just throw it in the damn end zone right now. Throw it in the end zone.
Bonner. Yeah. I got to be honest with you. Your rant at the start of the show is so true. I should just stop watching this game. I can't lie, Gabe, where we tell the truth on the network. I have the over. And that was my biggest play. I actually smashed it too, like you. I thought this game, I can't believe they're stuck at 39. Calgary left so many points off the field. Ottawa was held to field goals early and dominated the whole game. You're right. Good call by you on Ottawa. This team has really turned the corner. If there's any positives for us, and I know this was your play at the start of the year, the wins total for Ottawa. I did the same thing, not as hard as you, but this team just keeps on chalking up wins. They absolutely destroyed Calgary tonight.
Here's the final play of the game, and I guess it's pretty fitting that the Calgary quarterback just fell face first and was unable to get a pass off.
He tripped on his own feet. This guy, you got to be kidding me.
That's symbolic.
Yes, it is.
I had a lot of people before the game ask me, oh, really, Ottawa? Calgary just looks so good against BC last week. I'm like, yeah, that's last week. This is pretty crazy, though, guys. The Ottawa Red Blacks are now 4-0 on their home field this year. And previous to this, they were 4-29 in their last 33 home games. So to put that in context, in other words, they won 4 home games in 2 years combined before this. And now they're 4-0 on their home field. And you can feel the difference in the stadium, watching it on TV. Each week they just have more and more people. It's just a little louder every week. And his football team is rolling right now. We gave you the over 6.5 before the season started. A lot of people rolled their eyes. And here they are with a 5-2 record right now. Let's bring in Steve Merrill, stepping up and in from WagerTalk.com. How you doing tonight, Steve?
Doing good, Gabriel. How you doing, my man? CFL's getting to you already, huh?
Tonight.
Well, we're into week 8. We're mid-season now. I'm keeping track of my picks, Steve. Normally, you know me. As disciplined I am. I'm a very minimal guy, Steve. So it's easy to, but honestly, like, I can't keep track of everything I do. It's going to be like, I don't have time. Like, I got to bet it and move on sometimes. But CFL, there's only 4 games a week. Like the UFL, the XFL, these leagues, I give picks. I promise people I'll give you a pick for every game. All right. And I document it. So I came in tonight 55-36 through 8, coming into week 8. So it's not bad. Yeah. But I was 1-2 tonight, and I lost, Steve. I was crying. I was bitching. I had over 41 in the teaser. They got to 39. One team only scored 6 points, 2 field goals. What are you going to do?
What you concerned me, Gabe, is when you said, like, how could this lose? You know too well. And it looks that easy.
Yeah.
It ain't good. Back up.
It really is true, isn't it? Still, even after all these years.
Talked about it last week. We said nothing's 100%.
I'm like, damn, this is good.
And Teddy said that. It's like, when it looks 100%,
you're right.
Beware. You're missing something.
I looked at Morency.
I totally agree.
I go, how does this not, like even me, and I'm skeptical about everything. I go, they got to get over 40.5. Ottawa at home, you're getting, I teased it both sides. I didn't expect the blowout. You did. You liked Ottawa, but I got to be honest with you. The fact they didn't get to the total is pissing me off, and I did some pretty stupid things, Steve. Money management was not a strength tonight. I went kind of bananas. I was looking for a windfall, and it backfired. Should have stuck to the script.
Steve, you're not a CFL guy, Steve, but trends are trends, and falling knives are falling knives. 2 weeks ago, all 4 games went over the number and sailed over the number, like just pure track meets. Last week, all 4 games went under the number, and now here we are, two games into this week, and they've both gone under. So there's been 6 straight unders in the CFL. Tomorrow night's games are on CBS Sports Television Network in the United States. Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Toronto Argonauts, and then Sunday's game as well, the Edmonton Elks and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. But, Steve, did you get a chance to see the opening ceremonies today at all?
So I just caught a glimpse about 10 minutes ago as I was getting ready for the show. I'd been out, did not. I saw they're on the water. They're doing it on boats, which is kind of cool, actually. And, I it's funny, Gabe. You'll like this. This is a typical Teddy covers. I guest hosted Wager Talk today with him the last couple of days. Cam, you'll like this.
Yes, I will.
Andy Lang was on, and we were talking golf, and I said, there's no golf at the Olympics, no baseball, and he said, no, there is golf this year. I go, oh, I missed that. And I was logging all the odds on Wednesday. I didn't realize it started Wednesday until I saw there was some soccer, and I like to keep all the odds because I like to go back and look, when like table tennis is on later, hey, who's favored in this? Anyway, I was telling that story, and I throw it to Teddy, and Teddy, of course, goes, yeah, I won't be watching 30 seconds of the Olympics. That was like his response. I'm like, God damn. And I told him, I was like, I'm probably not going to watch a lot until I start watching, then I get sucked into it. You know how that works, Gabe. I did that with like the World Cup years ago. You and I were going back and forth on the Women's World Cup. Once I start watching, I like sports, and I do enjoy the Olympics.
Teddy is like a bitter man, Steve.
It is, man. He just can't have fun.
No, I told you he's got no joy in anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at all.
No.
Too much work to do. Got to get ready for football.
Not even going to watch
the answer is
10 seconds of the Olympics. I
was going to ask you. And you know me, I'm fired up. I have over $4,000 in bets in the Olympics. But I was going to ask you, what about the basketball? It's all NBA players.
Let's talk about it.
I would imagine if you think the salaries are big now, what kind of salaries are we looking at on an 11-year, $76 billion media rights deal?
This deal puts so much more money in the owners and the players' hands. Folks, this is about national media rights. So you're going to have more national appearances than ever.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Are there any grave issues that would keep Team USA from winning a gold medal?
Should they be minus 430 against the field or whatever the price is right now? Maybe. But am I looking at, hey, Europe as a continent to win the Olympics at plus 500 as an interesting bet? Yeah, because one, they have 5 teams in the Olympics out of the 12.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
The Pirates also are another team, Matt, that they're not going to sit back at the deadline. But there's only 3 spots for those 6 teams, and we didn't even do the Cubs or the Reds. And I think those teams right now kind of feel like they're hanging around too.
I think you mentioned the Padres. They're a team that I would think can get it together and do enough to get in. But, I mean, yeah, there's no way of knowing those final 2 spots. It's going to just be kind of a mad rush down the stretch.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
They scored well. They defended like crap. Last game, they struggled to score. They defended great. We still have not seen the best out of USA basketball. So they've shown they've won different ways. They still should win absolutely the gold medal. But they're playing with fire a little bit with their play, especially when you get to the medal round and it only takes is 1 game to lose.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Girl, she broke the world record in her first shoot. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. We love Teddy covers, just for the record, but we're just being real. Like he's an angry, bitter man.
He's going, by the way, he's going on vacation for next week, so I know he's not watching. That's why I'm picking on him. He's going on his one vacation.
Better. Yeah, 1 vacation.
Hey, Gabe, real quick before we get to basketball. Yesterday, he said what bettors learned for Thursday on WagerTalk.com was that summer ends next Thursday, August 1st, because football begins. And I mean, there's some truth to that. And he said, actually, I'll give you an extra week.
No.
August
But
8th.
even here's the Euro Cup happened, the Copa America happened, the Olympics. It literally is the busiest summer of sports in the history of sports, Steve.
Oh, yeah, with the Olympics and the Cups, yeah, no question.
Next summer is going to be a letdown. All we're going to have is the TBT tournament, which I actually like. That'll be a big thing, Cam. Next summer I'll go. I'll be like, I'm going to TBT this year, guys.
I got a road trip. Yeah, I'm going down to Wichita.
Yeah, going down to Dayton, Ohio. For the record, the final weekend and all this, it's in Philadelphia. I'm just saying. Not bad. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, cool.
So, Steve, the basketball, though, bro. You got Giannis and the Greeks taking on the Canadians. The Canadians are the only team in the tournament, Steve and Cam, besides the United States, where every player on the team is an NBA player. This is as good as it gets, Steve, when it comes to basketball. Right? I mean, this is the pinnacle of it. You have the best players in the world, the best teams going head to head. And like you said, it counts. This ain't no all-star game.
Well, that's the key here. It counts because if you look at the exhibition games, you'd have to be a little nervous about this USA team. And I don't know what to make of it. I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. I mean, what were they, 43-point favorites against South Sudan? They were one possession away, a final shot from losing outright. But you look at the other scores, Germany's got
Australia was a close game, Steve. 4 or 5 points. Germany, 4 or 5
Germany
points.
Was a close game. The only game they actually won by margin was Serbia. Canada was a 14-point game. Australia 6, like you said. I don't know what to make of it.
Serbia
yes, it was exhibition.
Back too, Steve, and they were missing guys like that. Don't let that score fool you.
Well, again, the thing is, they're exhibition games, but they're still the best players in the world. It's like you go to your bench, you still got all-stars, So it's like, how is there any letdown at any level? I haven't checked FanDuel. I checked some other books this week when I was logging those odds. USA was like minus 450 in some spots that I saw. France is going to be up there.
625 or so.
Yeah, 600.
Yeah, so it's a little pricey there, but it's still, that's a modest price compared to what it was, 2 decades ago. Of course, what was it, 2004, I believe, when they lost to Greece? It's been 20 years. So these other teams have obviously caught up, and France is going to be dangerous just being the host country. As you know, Gabe, they always get a bump, and they've got some talent as well. So
Victor Wembanyama, exactly. The basketball arena holds 30,000 people, too. Imagine
that.
Wow. And you say if it's like France versus USA or something, it's going to be pretty. It's going to be like a soccer feel in there. That's the thing, Steve. The modern, the whole, this team's better than the dream team. It's like the dream team wouldn't have beaten Germany by 4 and South Sudan by 1. Okay, so but people, the modern kids that want to defend the modern team, pointed out, and Kevin Durant reads everything, as we know. So. The Dream Team faced 9 NBA players. So there was 9 other NBA players in the league that weren't on the U.S. at the time in the Olympics. This Dream Team is going to face 63 NBA players.
Wow.
So it is a difference. Like if you look at like Germany are really good. Like Germany, it's pretty crazy to think Germany might do better in basketball at the Olympics than they did in the Euro Cup of soccer, but they might. Like Germany are legit. They won the World Cup of basketball last year, and it was all NBA players. Like Dennis Schroeder and the Wagner brothers combined are really dangerous, like these 3 dudes. But I'm fired up for this, Stephen. What do you think, Steve? I've been talking about, I've been asking guests this. 2028, bro, flag football. NFL players are going to be in the Olympics.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
And that's a growing sport, so I think it's cool they're putting in the Olympics. Actually, I was talking to the former William & Mary football coach today. I saw
it's great for girls, too. I know you coach girls.
Yeah, we were talking about how crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I was telling the former college coach who's 10th all-time for Division I wins, 249 wins, Jimmy Laycock. He was saying, I was telling him there's travel football now. He didn't even realize that, where kids play year-round tackle football, which we both thought was insane. But I did say to him, I think this flag football kick is a good thing. It's an athletic sport, gets kids playing without all the contact, so that's cool. I did not realize it's going to be in the Olympics, and that'll be really exciting to see NFL players.
Yeah, and they want in. The NFL is backing it. The NFL has invested $1 billion into flag football. $1 billion, Kim.
Remember,
all the ads you see, it's all building up for the Olympics. It's the one thing the NFL has never had. They've never had the brand of the Olympics and showcase their players like all these different leagues. Yeah, so now... And players are already talking. Like Mahomes said, I want to be the quarterback. But he said, I'm probably going to be too old and slow, and they won't want me in 2028. And it's true. All right, we'll get Steve out in a minute on the other side.
That's cool. I didn't know they had to play football. That's awesome.
What the hell's going on?
You gonna try to go, Gabe?
Oh,
Gonna go to LA?
Yeah.
It's not like
the ref.
I would imagine if you think the salaries are big now, what kind of salaries are we looking at on an 11-year, $76 billion media rights deal?
This deal puts so much more money in the owners and the players' hands. Folks, this is about national media rights. So you're going to have more national appearances than ever.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Are there any grave issues that would keep Team USA from winning a gold medal?
Should they be minus 430 against the field or whatever the price is right now? Maybe. But am I looking at, hey, Europe as a continent to win the Olympics at plus 500 as an interesting bet? Yeah, because one, they have 5 teams in the Olympics out of the 12.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
The Pirates also are another team, Matt, that they're not going to sit back at the deadline. But there's only 3 spots for those 6 teams, and we didn't even do the Cubs or the Reds. And I think those teams right now kind of feel like they're hanging around too.
I think you mentioned the Padres. They're a team that I would think can get it together and do enough to get in. But, I mean, yeah, there's no way of knowing those final 2 spots. It's going to just be kind of a mad rush down the stretch.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
They scored well. They defended like crap. Last game, they struggled to score. They defended great. We still have not seen the best out of USA basketball. So they've shown they've won different ways. They still should win absolutely the gold medal. But they're playing with fire a little bit with their play, especially when you get to the medal round and it only takes is 1 game.
Thank you. I appreciate this. You want one of these?
I'm good, KG.
You want your ginger shot?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
I need some positivity today. I'm trying to cover this spread, and your vibe is off, G.
What's wrong with my vibe?
You got to get you one of these, G. Get to sip some of this positivity in your life, and boom! You see that? Spread's covered. Thank you, Mama. In a minute, G. Ha ha!
I love Steve Merrill, Cam Stewart in the house. Like Cam, Steve, him, and Teddy. I don't think there's any golf in the Olympics. No, there's no golf. There's no. There's no.
Yeah,
there's golf. It starts next week. Like, there's tennis too.
I didn't
Steve.
see it. Hey,
There's everything.
I didn't see it when I was logging all the Olympic odds. At least I was doing something with the Olympics. Teddy hadn't even looked at the odds.
Wow.
I overlooked golf. For some reason, I didn't see golf odds. I must have missed it.
It's going to be wicked.
Okay, Steve. From a competition standpoint, let me just throw this out at you. Swimming, so Katie Ledecky, the female Michael Phelps, she's, awesome. But Ariane Titmus from Australia is, like, better. Now, like, this Titmus girl is, like, the kingpin and, the scary one. She's favored in most of the events. And there's a 17-year-old girl from Canada named Summer McIntosh. She made her Olympic debut when she was 14 in Tokyo, and she finished 4th as a 14-year-old. Now, she just broke Titmus's world record, and then Titmus in her next race broke McIntosh's world record. And they're going head-to-head tomorrow morning, like right out of the gate, bro. 5:12 a.m. Eastern time. But should be noted, like they do it in heats. So there's like a bunch of little four swimmers at a time. The final is at 2:42 Eastern time tomorrow, guys. But it's like it's for swim nerds and stuff. It's like the ultimate showdown.
For swim nerds.
For us, like football or something. Like, what a matchup.
I've never heard of swim nerds.
I just made it up.
No, we got to trademark that one for all you swim nerds out there.
The swim geeks, and the swim fans. Swim.com or whatever,
Swim nerds.
It's an ultimate matchup.
That sounds exciting, Gabe. I'm intrigued.
I love it. Yeah, I want to be a swim nerd. That's a
They
great
have like a
term.
combined
Cam, if I
15
picture
gold
swim
medals
nerds, you'd be the
between the
farthest
three
thing
of
I'd picture.
The swim nerds.
So, Morency, you say late night for you tonight. Are you like, that's so what time is that 5 something Eastern or what's the deal? Like,
No,
when
it
do they
sort of
go
works
off?
out. It's pretty hardcore,
Yeah.
actually. I'm kind of fired up. It's 2:12 in the morning for me.
Oh, that's
Not
perfect.
bad.
That's right when you're winding down after
For
the
you,
hour.
or
thing
Eastern
is-
time?
So that's
for you.
so 5:12 in the morning Eastern time. So I'm Pacific.
Eastern, gotcha.
2:12 in the morning
perfect.
at night. So that's fine. Yeah, but the final is at like 11:40 my time.
Ooh,
I'm not
time
pulling
for-
a bender for a swim meet in
Yeah,
day
I
one of the
get it.
Olympics.
Well, if you're a
He's
real
not that
swim
much of a
nerd,
swim
you'll
nerd.
have, you know what swim
He's not
nerds
that
do?
much
They
of
have
a
a
swim
nap
nerd.
in between the first and the race. and
No,
wake
no,
up
that's
and
what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch
Yes.
at 2:12. I usually go to bed at 4 a.m. anyway. So
Yeah.
I'll go to bed
Good
at
time.
4 and I'll wake up at like 9. The Canada basketball is at noon against Greece tomorrow. Canada 7.5 point favorite. So, Steve, we got Lou coming up here. We're going to talk some UFC. We got a great card in London, or I should say in England, in Manchester. But before we get you out of here, Steve, what do you got for us? You got any baseball that catches your eye tomorrow?
Well, first of all, let's talk USA-Serbia on Sunday. They're a 12.5
bring
point
it.
favorite, and that's the only team that they beat by margin. It was over 20. Jokic actually started in that game. So I think the U.S. plays well here. I wish it wasn't a team they'd already blown out of the gate, but I think they match up well. So maybe I'll be a sucker and I'll take the USA, even though they haven't looked great. And as far as baseball goes, I'd be careful with your Blue Jays, boys. I would have to think they're going to be sellers near the trade deadline. They did pull out a 6-5 win tonight. But I'd be very cautious with them over the next few days until Tuesday evening.
They're heavy fade material, but they did pull it out tonight.
But they won.
Steve,
exactly.
Steve Merrill, Wager Talk, great stuff. Steve, thanks for taking the time to be with us.
Thanks, boys.
Later,
There's, Steve Merrill with us. We go from Steve Merrill to Lou. Swim nerds.
I just love that term. It's the best.
I don't know. What are hardcore swim fans? Swim-a-maniacs? I don't know. What
I
are
don't know.
hardcore
I
swimming
just
fans?
think swim nerds is cool.
Swim nerds?
And that's, just keep swim nerds. Like all those swim nerds watching the race tonight. I love that.
No, I
term.
meant
Yeah,
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it in a derogatory way.
I know. I know who you are. You didn't mean it mean. It just sounds great. You're a swim nerd. I'm a golf nerd. You know what I mean?
I said, I was hyping up what an important race it is, and like how. I guess I could have said hardcore swim fans instead of swim nerds are like fired up for this.
More catchy. Yeah.
I am which one? Look at me. I look like a swim nerd. Don't I look like I'm at a swim meet?
Hey, Morency.
Sitting in the stands and having a drink at a swim meet.
Yeah, you look like you're one of those guys in a floaty there. Just don't go to the deep end. Yeah, fantastic. I like that shirt, by the way. Very summery.
Let's bring in Lou right now. Gamboo. He's all business tonight. Look at Lou.
Lou looks great. Yeah,
Lou
looks
at
like
the
my financial
office.
advisor.
You look like a CEO tonight, Lou. What's up?
That's right, Lou.
Don't let looks deceive, number one. Number two, there's a great fight camp down in Brazil called the Fighting Nerds, and they're an awesome team. They got a great group, a lot of killer fighters there. So watch out if you're poking fun at swim nerds.
No, I like the term nerd. And even in the TBT basketball tournament we were talking about, remember there's the nerd team.
Yeah,
they're
I like
all
the
Ivy
nerd.
Leaguers. It's a basketball pickup team. They're all from the Ivy League team. They call themselves the nerd team, and they're actually pretty good. But we were talking about the Olympics, Lou. I'm fired up. It's one thing I'll say. There's going to be a few people that are in the Olympics that are going to be MMA stars in a couple of years, right? So I'm looking through all these. I'm looking for like to bet on this. I'm just sort of kicking the tires on stuff, but they're all like massive favorites for the most part. I'm betting on judo because I sort of have an insight on a girl on judo, and I have some reasons to be betting her. But I look forward to seeing some of the combat sports. But the weekend the Olympics open, we've got international UFC, Manchester, and should be a pretty violent card, Lou.
Should be a real excellent card. And as we know, when we go overseas with the UFC, there's usually a couple of different priorities. The first is to electrify the local crowd. The second is to electrify that local crowd with local fighters that are many times set up in advantageous circumstances in order to electrify the local crowd. And so we got to know who the local fighters are, what their situation is, and we should know our history. 2 years ago in Manchester, there were 7 English fighters on that card. They went 6-1. The only loss was Aspinall, you're showing up on the screen right now, and it was 15 seconds into his fight with Blades that he was hurt. So really,
Yeah, he
it
broke
was
his
6-0.
leg.
6-0 for the English fighters in England, in London 2 years ago, and I remember it well because I faded a couple of the English fighters. Now I'm going to do it again in this card, but a word of caution: you got to do your research, and even then you don't know, because you got to try and avoid that decision with all those loud Brits in the stadium, and it's going to be 4 a.m. there. They'll be certainly overserved. You're going to have a raucous crowd.
I'm assuming they're going to change the local laws and just serve all night, because as we stated, they're literally, the main event is literally going to be like 5:30, 6 a.m. there.
Don't they serve all night anyway over there? I mean, if I remember, I was being served all night when I was there.
Well, you hang with the cool people. I mean, you're VIP. No one's shutting you off. Look, as far as the main event is concerned here, Lou, with Edwards, so they're fighting again. What was your breakdown? And I'll ask you on your side, but 30 seconds, you can think about the answer. What was your breakdown when they originally fought? Because we had a no contest, right, due to the eye poke. So here we go again. And what's different now? How much of a different fighters are they now? Is Edwards affected as a champ fighting at home, which sometimes can be a trap, right? I mean, he's up to minus 250 right now. More with Lou and Cam on the other side.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50-year-old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Liv. It's
very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
When this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I really shouldn't. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a
dude.
Let's roll. So we were talking about Bilal Muhammad and Leon Edwards, who have fought before, but the fight was deemed a no contest due to an accidental eye poke. And Leon Edwards, of course, is the champion right now. And I talked about this last night, actually, Lou, about these fighters, sort of a similar path in their careers in a way. They're sort of the same in the sense that they're not flashy. They don't move, they don't sell tickets per se. In England, okay, but, you know what I mean? They're not covered in tattoos. They don't say stupid things. They're not flashy fighters. They're more smart championship pedigree type, not never lose type of fighters. But let's be real. The UFC was hesitant to give either of them a title shot, right? Edwards had to, win for forever. Muhammad needed to win 9 in a row or something to finally do it. They're like, all right, we don't have a choice now. So it's an interesting fight going head-to-head here, Lou. What do you make of, is Edwards too big of a favorite right now at minus 250?
In their first fight a couple of years ago, Edwards closed at 280 or 285. My question is, why did he only open 210? What are they trying to tell me with that? And why have all the English fighters been pounded all week and their prices have jacked up? And Edwards has only incrementally crept up a little bit. These are things that make a guy go hum. And I can tell you that when I look at no one has been riding a fighter more than I have been riding Leon these last 7 years. No one. That said, Leon's last 2 fights were the Usman's second fight, and I don't believe that was the Usman of the first fight. Then he fought Colby Covington, who I can't explain what performance that was, but it wasn't a good performance from Covington, to say the least. And so Edwards has looked good, yes. He's won every fight since they fought, Bilal and he, and he's the rightful champ. I think he should be a favorite. However, I'm perplexed at that opening number. I think that Bilal is in a great position to surprise the world here. I'm going with Bilal. His only path to victory is to take Edwards where Edwards was in the 5th round of that Usman 1 fight and try and make him quit. That's what he's prepared to do. That's what he's going to try and attempt to do. That's what Edwards' camp knows he's going to try and do, and that sets the table for the fight. But I think Bilal Muhammad at plus 205 or plus 210, currently priced, is the way I have to go on this fight.
One thing I'll say, too, I'm with you. I've been riding Leon Edwards for years, and I've been riding Bilal Muhammad for years. I found, Muhammad is just consistently underappreciated and undervalued, and you could argue that he is in this fight. My gut, this is just my gut, though, Lou. My gut tells me that Edwards survives, but it's going to be like a super close fight. But Edwards will survive and find a way. Do you believe that that the judging will be slanted towards the home fighters, as you stated, how these cards are set up? Because I don't know how many of them are going to go the distance. This one probably does. Aspinall also a big favorite, and a similar situation, Lou, where they fought, and it wasn't, we never really resolved it. Aspinall got his leg broken in the fight, but hey, it is what it is. He was the one that got his leg broken, but now we do it again here, and man, he's like over a 400 favorite right now.
Well, in the case of Edwards, we had more data based on a round and a half a fight to watch, and I can tell you, if Muhammad will not come out and look anything like the first fight, if he does, he's done. It'll look way, way different in my estimation. Aspinall and Blades, we got 15 seconds, so we don't know. In that fight, Blades must sell out to be the high school senior football captain, slow dancing with his sweetheart on the dance room floor, because if he gives Aspinall space to maneuver and punch, Blades' Achilles heel is the fact that he has lost all 4 of his fights the same way against big, strong power punchers that have been able to flush him. And Aspinall is a big, strong power puncher that can move and fights with strikes with great precision. So Blades cannot allow Aspinall the room to maneuver. He must get in there and clasp onto him, press him against the fence, and get this fight on top. We have not seen Aspinall have to struggle 2 or 3 rounds with someone that can really physically stand up to him and or take him down. Now, he's fought primarily strikers, and he hasn't had to fight past the second round because he's so dynamic. That's what Blades' task is, and I think it's a tall task.
I'm really looking forward to seeing this fight. And I think of Aspinall, and like you said, he's almost like a Anthony Davis or in a basketball term, or Victor Wembanyama, where we're talking about 7-footers that have the footwork, Lou, of a point guard. And Aspinall, like you said, the precision, the strikes, the combos, the speed, it's very un-heavyweight-like. You know what I'm saying? It almost reminds me, he's like I don't want to say better, a more modern, but at the time, Junior Dos Santos was like that, Lou. Right? Where it was just sort of his stand-up and his striking was just sort of next level. And Aspinall's even fiercer, like comes in with the combination of that speed and power that he has. And he seems to have a pretty strong willpower as well, as far as being driven psychologically and mentally as well. Aspinall definitely is the real deal.
Yeah, total agreement, and that's a good analogy with JDS. Aspinall is today's heavyweight, and I think he's going to prove it against Blades. Now, what I will say is I think there's tremendous disrespect on the line on Blades. If I was betting it today, I'd have to look at Blades or some form of Blades-type bet, and to me, the Blades-type bet is this fight to go over, or even better yet, at DraftKings or other places, you can find the fight starts round 2 plus 100. I'm all about that.
More with Lou on the other side. This is SportsRage.
I would imagine if you think the salaries are big now, what kind of salaries are we looking at on an 11-year, $76 billion media rights deal?
This deal puts so much more money in the owners and the players' hands. Folks, this is about national media rights. So you're going to have more national appearances than ever.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Are there any grave issues that would keep Team USA from winning a gold medal?
Should they be minus 430 against the field or whatever the price is right now? Maybe. But am I looking at, hey, Europe as a continent to win the Olympics at plus 500 as an interesting bet? Yeah, because one, they have 5 teams in the Olympics out of the 12.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
The Pirates also are another team, Matt, that they're not going to sit back at the deadline. But there's only 3 spots for those 6 teams, and we didn't even do the Cubs or the Reds. And I think those teams right now kind of feel like they're hanging around too.
I think you mentioned the Padres. They're a team that I would think can get it together and do enough to get in. But, I mean, yeah, there's no way of knowing those final 2 spots. It's going to just be kind of a mad rush down the stretch.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
They scored well. They defended like crap. Last game, they struggled to score. They defended great. We still have not seen the best out of USA basketball. So they showed they've won different ways. They still should win absolutely the gold medal. But they're playing with fire a little bit with their play, especially when you get to the medal round and it only takes is 1 game to lose.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
The Friday Night Free Show continues. This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. Got a rapid fire. We're only on 2 hours tonight. We got a lot of I got a lot of picks, a lot of events. We got a lot of guests. But the opening ceremonies, I'm seeing the highlights today. I got to tell you, I was at the 1976 opening ceremonies. I was a kid. I remember it, but I was actually there. And in those days, they walked around a circle on a track with the flag. And, you know what I mean? It was, it wasn't like this, right?
No.
But the France stuff today, I couldn't I was actually upset it was over. It was just an unbelievable broadcast and production of like a Super Bowl, the Grammys, the Oscars, the Cirque du Soleil, rolled into one.
Great call.
On this massive canvas that was the streets of Paris. It wasn't in a stadium. It's so ambitious to start to think, yeah, we're going to do this, and then to realize, oh yeah, by the way, you know how hard this is? And then they actually pulled it off. Lady Gaga was great. The heavy metal band was next level. Just hey, who the hell would expect? They'd never do that in America or Canada. In France, they actually had where the king lived in the castle, and it was like a Black Sabbath Ronnie James Dio concert. This pyro went up, and then a metal band standing on the perch started cranking metal, and there's flames, and then this opera singer on a boat sailed in. It was oh my God. And then they wrapped it up with a little nice syrup with Celine Dion singing on top of the Eiffel Tower.
Nice syrup, you're right,
Yeah, a
Morency.
little syrup on top of it.
it.
Let's make them cry now. Let's bring
You're right.
Celine in here and sing in
That was
French. But what a show though.
No, you couldn't have said any better. It was an epic production of major proportions. It's better than it was artwork. I can't. To your point, how do you pull that off? It was amazing. That was one of the best things ever. It'll go down in history. That was fantastic. It was
Like I said earlier, I tweeted out during the event. I said this makes the Super Bowl halftime show look like a Mac Tuesday night game. So we got Lou
Buffalo versus Ball State.
Live from Mount Pleasant. Welcome to Central Michigan takes on Toledo tonight. Welcome to our halftime show. So we got Lou in the house here. So Ospinall, what about this fight, Lou? Price. You're not a favorite guy. It's way too high. Is there another way to bet this, or is Blades a live dog in your opinion?
We bet it weeks ago, and the line came out and had Aspinall minus 218. But that doesn't do any good for people listening and watching right now, looking at these numbers. Listen, with Blades' jaw being what it is, I can't recommend a bet on Blades, even though that's the only way to go. Rather than do that, I think another way to look at betting Blades is to look at the over. And better yet, fight starts round 2 plus 100. Blades is getting massively disrespected here. He can win this fight, and he's going to take this fight past round 1. I will tell you that right now. Aspinall has the ability to roll over everybody, but it's not going to happen in this situation. And so I think another way to support Blades is to take that fight to start round 2, or you want a little better money and some plus price, take it over 1.5.
Bobby Green and Patty Pimblett's basically a pick 'em right now, Lou. Minus 110 on both sides.
Yeah, Bobby Green opened minus 170, and money flew in on the on the Englishman. And that's the typical story here with all the English fighters, save for Edwards, really. The money came in on Patty, and I go back and forth on this fight. Bobby Green is very uneven, and he's a way better underdog than he is a favorite. He's currently a slight favorite. I don't want any part of this fight.
Lou, Gamblu.com with us. Lou, we got about a minute for the break here, and then we'll get a couple other picks on the other side and get you out of here. We got Ravino stepping up and in. What else are you looking at here?
Yeah, I like this guy, RoboCop, coming in to fight the English Christian Leroy Duncan, CLD. Christian Leroy Duncan, long, tall, precise striker, ex-basketball player, very athletic, has some power, but most of his damage comes over time and with the accrual of strikes. RoboCop's the way better versed mixed martial artist. He has a great BJJ game. If he sells his soul to take this fight to the ground where he can dominate. He opened minus 170. He's currently plus 140, 145 or abouts. Greg RoboCop Rodriguez as an underdog.
More with Lou on the other side. Rob Vino stepping up and in as well. Bring it.